This is the 4th video in my mini mat Pilates sequence, and we're going to start off in 4-point kneeling. So if you'd like to come up onto your hands and your knees, just make sure that your hands are shoulder width apart and that your knees are hip width apart. And then from here, just a little stretch back. And when you stretch back, you might want to extend your arms forward a little bit more, drop your tailbone down and move your shoulders back away from your ears. And just spread your fingers nice and wide. So we're going to start to breathe in and shift the weight forward over the arms, but being careful not to dip the hips or not to arch the back. And then we're going to breathe out as we lengthen back. So inhale forward and exhale back. And this is just to get us warmed up a little bit, just warming up those shoulders a little bit. So breathing in and breathing out. And just making sure that you keep pulling in navel to spine. So trying to scoop and hollow out those core abdominals. And a little bit of contraction up through the pelvic floor. Okay, so we're going to do one more and then we're going to stay in position. So here we come, shifting our weight forward. Again, just make sure you keep your ribcage closed and lengthen down through the tailbone and pull in. Okay, so as I said, knees hip distance apart, hands shoulder width apart. So we're going to start to move opposite arm and leg. So as you breathe in, start to slide your right hand forward and your left leg away, just to here. So taking care not to twist your hips, and then as you breathe out, slide back in, making sure your hand comes back under your shoulder and your knee comes back under your hip. Then change sides, so inhale and exhale. So we're going to do a few of these first, so nice and slow, keeping the, as I said, hips nice and level, abdominals pulled in. So we're going to do one more on each side, inhale and exhale. And let's go again. Now this time, we're going to slide away and then we're going to lift up. So arm in line with ear, leg in line with the hips. So again, be careful not to twist your hips. Then we're going to lower back down to the floor and slide back in. Let's go again on the other side. We're going to inhale and then exhale. And be very careful when you lift the arm and leg not to twist the hips and not to flare the ribs, so keeping that rib cage closed. Don't try to overly extend, because then you're going to start arching the back. We don't want that. Okay, so let's take one more on each side. And if you wanted to, you could just do a few more like this. But now, if you feel able to, you're going to lift from here, okay, directly from here. So lifting up, so breathing in and breathing out. Inhale and exhale. Again, making sure you land your leg or your knee hip distance apart, because if you land your knees too close, you're going to start to wobble. You won't be able to balance. Okay, so inhale and exhale. We're just going to take one more on each side. Keep pulling in, don't let the belly pop out. And then lower back down. Again, just do a little stretch back here. Just releasing through your shoulders, lengthening down through your tailbone. So the next exercise, we're going to be on our sides and we're going to be doing a forward kick. So let's come up then. So just lie on your right side, and you can do this lying from a lying down position if you want to. So your bottom knee bent and top leg straight. So you could be down here if you prefer. But if you feel able to, we're going to come to this position here. So with your elbow bent, arm under your shoulder, take your top hand to your waist, bottom knee is bent, pull in navel to spine, and just lift your leg and hover it off the floor. And then point your toes and extend your leg forward, and then flex as you take your leg back. So going to exhale forward and inhale back. So point forward and flex back. And this is giving that hamstring a nice stretch through the back of the leg. So I'm going to do a few more of these on that side. Now don't let your right shoulder collapse. Just focus on pressing the floor away. Be strong in your core and stabilise through your pelvis, so keeping that top hip lifted. So let's do 2 more. And then lower your leg back down, bend your knees, ease out through your hip. Let's change sides. So exactly the same exercise, and you want to make sure you've got a bit of padding underneath your elbow. And as I said, if you want to, you can do this lying down on the floor if you have any shoulder problems. So the elbow is directly underneath your shoulder, your bottom knee is bent, your top leg is straight. You take your hand to your waist, just lift up a bit through that hip and engage. Lift the leg, it's going to point forward and flex back. So breathing out and breathing in. Just feel that lovely stretch, well hopefully it's lovely, in the back of your leg, your hamstring. And don't force the movement, because you want to stabilise through the pelvis. Just go as far as you can. And the more you do this, the more you're going to feel that lovely stretch and the more you're going to get warmed up. Okay, so exhale and inhale. Let's take a couple more. Breathing out and breathing in. And one last time. Exhale and inhale. And then lower your leg back down and bend your knees. Okay, next exercise we'll do is known as the swimming. So you're going to lie down, face down on your mat. So I'm going to show you a couple of variations. So stretch your legs behind, so your feet are hip distance apart. And extend your arms forward with your palms down. Now press your pubic bone down into the floor, close your rib cage and pull in. So for our first option, we're just going to start to lift the right arm and the left leg up and then lower back down. So you might like to breathe out as you lift and breathe in as you lower, and we're really strengthening the muscles in the lower back in this one. Now make sure you don't bend your knee, so we want to keep the leg as straight as we can. Think about lifting from the thigh downwards. Now if you have any difficulty lifting your arm, you could always just do the legs and keep your arms folded. Now once you've done a few of those, see if you can start to lift your chest as well, but keep your chin down. And keep pulling in. Don't let the belly pop out. So exhale as you lift, inhale as you lower. So you could just do a few more of these if you wanted to. Or the next stage, if you wanted to work harder, this is what we're going to do. We're going to press the fingers into the floor, lift the chest, lift and hold the legs off the floor, lengthen them away. And then from here, we're going to start to do these little flutter kicks with the legs. And you can add in the arms as well as if you want to. Okay, so keeping the chin down, abdominals pulled in. So you're going to inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep going, remembering that you can rest whenever you need to. Keep breathing, keep pulling in. And then release down. You might want to fold your arms, one by one bend your knees, curl your legs in, and just do a little rock from side to side. And then one by one lower your feet back down, and just push yourself up. You might want to do a little stretch back here. And remember, we're going to be working our core abdominals with an exercise known as the double leg stretch. We start off with a single leg, and then we'll build to double legs. So let's come up. Now just turn. Going to lie down on your mat, so put your knees bent. Feet hip width apart. Let's come down in a Pilates way. So extend the arms forward. Take an inhalation. And as you exhale, see if you can see curve all the way down to the floor. If you get stuck, just take your elbows down. So once you're down on the floor, move yourself into position. Just bring your feet in a little bit closer. So we're going to start with one leg. So we're going to bring the right knee into the chest. Now if you wanted to, you can keep your head and shoulders on the floor with this one. So we're going to start with the hands here. But if you feel able to, you're going to curl up your head and shoulders with your chin down, so you're looking down at your tummy to make sure you're pulling it in. And then what we're going to do is extend the leg away like this, and then we're going to bring the arms round. So inhale and exhale. So we're going to do about 5 on each leg. So we're not taking the leg too low. So let's do 1 more. Then take the foot down. Change sides. Remember, you can keep your head and shoulders on the floor if you want to. Let's go on the other side. So inhale and exhale. That's 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, if you wanted to, you could repeat that exercise. If you want to try the harder one, please don't do this one if you've got low back problems, but if you haven't, you can try this one with me. So it's double legs, so you curl up your head and shoulders, and then you take double legs away, and then you sweep the arms round. Okay, so go to inhale, and then exhale. Now you can take the legs a bit lower if you want to, but we really don't want to arch the back in this one. All right, we just focus, really pulling in over the spines, inhale, and exhale. So let's do a few more, remembering that you can rest if you want to any time. So 1 more if you feel able to. And then we're resting with our knees into our chest. For our final exercise, we're going to be doing a twist. Now this is a modification for the exercise known as the Pilates corkscrew. I'm going to show you a couple of different levels. So knees, keep them into your chest. For the moment, take your arms out to the side, wide, with your palms facing down. Now just bring your legs forward one by one into the position known as tabletop. Now at this point, you really want to make sure that you're not arching your back. So kind of lengthen down to your tailbone and really pull in over the spine. You want to take your knees together and your feet together. Now, if it feels too difficult, you could just do this with your toes on the floor. Okay, so really pulling in. Feel like you're pressing the back of your ribcage into the floor, knees over the hips. Take an inhalation, and as you exhale, take your knees to one side, but keep your shoulders down. Then inhale, engage the abdominals as you pull those knees back into the centre. Then exhale, take the knees to the other side. Then inhale back to the centre. Okay, so don't be tempted to go too far because then you'll lose control of the movement. Remember, the legs are heavy, so they're going to want to pull you over to the side, and you really don't want that shoulder to be lifting up. Okay, so if you wanted to take it up a level, then you can do this with straight legs. Okay, if you were doing it with straight legs, you'd extend your legs up to the ceiling, point through the toes. So keep the legs over the hips, don't take them forward. Same exercise. Again, not taking them too far because you do not want to lose control of that movement. So now we've lengthened the levers, our legs that is. The legs become a little bit heavier, a little bit harder to pull back in. So we're working those muscles around the waist, our oblique muscles, just that little bit harder. So let's do a few more if we feel able to. So exhale, and inhale, go again, exhale, and inhale, really pulling in, really feel those muscles working. And let's just try 1 more to each side if we can. And coming back to the centre, one by one, bend your knees, bring your knees into your chest. Just do a little rock from side to side. And then you might like to just push your knees gently away and exhale as you bring your knees back into your chest. So breathing in, as you just take the knees slightly away. Breathing out as you bring the knees into your chest. Let's do a couple more. And then one by one, take your feet down to the floor. Just roll yourself over onto one side. You might just want to give your hips a little bit of stretch, just by crossing your legs if you feel able to. Or you might like to sit in a comfortable position. Okay, just roll your shoulders back and down. Take a couple of breaths here.